Joining me now is the brand new Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Nentawe Yawata. Prof, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. Congratulations on your appointment as Minister. I'm told this is perhaps your first television interview since you were sworn in.
Yes, sir. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. You're welcome. So your swearing in coincided with the recent development regarding the release of minors arrested during the nationwide protests. Walk us through the events leading up to this decision and your ministry's role in ensuring their release.
Yeah, there was a directive by the president that the Attorney General should do everything possible to navigate and secure the release of these people without prejudice to the legal prosecution ongoing. And I was also directed as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs to receive the minors from the Attorney General and hand over those minors to the Vice President. And they should also be handed over to their parents through their governors, which today I was in court in person to ensure that I received them. So after the judgment, after the case was struck out, I received them from the Attorney General, and we got buses, and we invited UNICEF also to be present. So we conveyed them to a safe location where we provided some logistics for them. And at the same time also we got UNICEF to take stock of the people who were involved and to track all of them along with their governors so that we ensure that we provide education for them. At the same time also provide skills for them where possible in conjunction with their governors. So after the Vice President handed over to the governors, we take stock of the numbers. There were 119. All of them were 119. And we took stock of them along with the governors and handed over safely to their governors. And we are in touch with their governors to ensure that their governors work out a modality to provide skills, provide education where possible, and if possible, we track the events that but we tell the governors that before we even did that, we took them for medical care, and they were examined for all their medical conditions were examined, and the reports were handed over to their governors, so that where possible, we asked that they should be rehabilitated psychological also, so that we can prepare them for their future.
So it sounds like they got some immediate assistance from your ministry before handing them over to their governors. However, Prof, there are concerns about what happens afterwards, because the Vice President did say this was done on a humanitarian basis. How is your ministry intending to work with other government agencies and stakeholders to address the underlying issues driving these protests?
Yeah, we know that the real underlying issue is to provide jobs for the people, create new jobs, and create the stopgap. The stopgap is to expand the social net, the social safety nets, so that more people can be accommodated in social safety net. That will just be a stopgap. Long term is to create jobs, so that people who are within these age categories can actually have jobs being created for them. But most important is that some of them are not schooled, and we also engage, if possible, they can go to school where possible, if they like to go to school. And those who would like to acquire skills, is for us to work with the governors to ensure that we create jobs along with, for these minors. But by and large, there's need for a holistic look at the issue of job creation, the issue of humanitarian activities, and the issue of intervention. If you look at the stock of, like I was discussing with Senate, that we have about 133 people who are multidimensionally poor. But that's multidimensional. I think for now we have to take care of the people who are extremely very poor, that cannot place a bread on their table. And that's the number we're trying to look at. But these are numbers, not faces. And that's why we said we need to deploy technology, deeper technology, and get the data, get the faces to these numbers.
Prof, there are let us talk about your appointment for a minute, because it's coming about 10 months after the former minister was suspended based on allegations of mismanagement of funds. Does that baffle you? What do you intend to do differently when it comes to accountability and transparency under your leadership?
You know, that's where we're discussing about deepening technology. And to deepen technology is to ensure that all the recipients of other in any form of support should be transparently transmitted to them. And we intend to have the data of all the people within the safety net. And to get the data, we said that we will now fragment Nigeria into states, 36 states and Abuja, into the 774 local government. But in addition, we'll go further than that. We will now fragment the local government into wards. And the wards will use the census enumeration areas by the Nigerian Population Commission, and we get the census enumeration areas. Then we'll now get the identity of these poor people and attach them to their own census enumeration areas, so that we get to the minute component of the country. That will give us ability to dictate, to get a geospatial distribution of poverty across the country. And then we can now intelligently and data-driven deliver humanitarian services to people. With that, we can create dashboard so that international community can have a look at it. We can also have a look at it also. Government agencies can also have a look at it. And it will help us to duplicate even intervention. There are many organizations that are already making interventions. If you walk around, you see people like Lumele Foundation already making some interventions, Dangote making interventions. But we need to integrate all organizations that are making interventions across the country, so that both international intervention and local intervention can be aggregated. And then international partners will now have confidence in us, and local partners will also have confidence in us, and then government itself will now have confidence in us. And most importantly, the general public, that trust deficit will be eliminated by just simple transparency in terms of deepening of technology.
I like that you're talking about technology, because Nigerians are counting on your experience as electoral commissioner, professor of digital systems engineering, to bring some data into how we administer this ministry. For crying out loud, why should we still be giving cash to people who need them in this age and time? But do we have the figures as it relates to those we intend to reach to as regards humanitarian?
Yeah, we have the figures. But not sufficient. We need to deepen that data, and we have the figures, but we've not attached localities to them. That's why I said that we need to get enumeration areas, and we need to deepen where they're located. Who are these faces? If we say we have 133 million Nigerians who are multidimensionally poor, who are they? What are their names? Where are they resident? Where is their location? Where is their addresses? Where's their faces? And then we can begin to give digital identity to these people. Once we can give digital identity to these people, then we can come up with some level of structuring. I'll give you an example. If you check bank accounts, in the last 2 years, you can look at people who have not been able to even deposit 1 naira in their bank accounts. And with CBN giving us that data, you can have a simple data of people who can even afford to deposit 1 naira in their account. It will give you the simple data of people who are extremely very poor. You cannot get people who don't even have account at all. These are group people who are extremely very poor. You cannot get from the same NIMC number. You can also verify people that their telephone number in the last 1 year, they couldn't even recharge 1 naira on the handset. They're extremely poor. People who don't have a handset at all, they are extremely very poor. So we begin to classify people based on extreme poverty, people who are just very poor, and people who are just multidimensionally very poor. If we can, if we can aggregate this data and distribute them, and just partially distribute them, then we can work with the government. We can provide the data to the state government, to local government, international partners, to local partners, to individuals, and people can begin to intervene for these individuals. Government cannot do enough. Government cannot do everything to elevate the poverty or reduce the poverty of the people and migrate them from poverty to prosperity alone. And that's why we need this data so that we can jointly work together with international partners, the local partners, with individuals, with governments, and in publicity from TVs and other media houses to ensure that we distribute well across this country.
I'm sure that Nigerians will be counting on your idea of leveraging technology in humanitarian intervention, and we're looking forward to that in earnest. Professor Netawe Yiwada is the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Thank you so much for talking to us. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with more stories.